As you know, the real estate market has been shifting all over the country. And of course, the Sarasota area is no exception. So in this video, I want to go over the recent statistics. I'm recording this at the end of October 2022. So the most current numbers we have are from September. But not only that, let's not just look at the most recent numbers, but we're going to go back 10 years and look at the trends so you can kind of compare and contrast what has happened over time. And I think that's going to give you a really strong perspective on what is going on today. Hi, I'm Jill Thomas, and each week I bring new videos about what it's like to live here in Florida. And then, of course, I like to focus in on the area that I work in, the Sarasota Bradenton areas. And then, of course, we talk about real estate. So if this is something that's just of interest to you, you're thinking about moving here or maybe moving around our area, then this might be a good channel for you to follow. So just subscribe, hit the notification bell, and keep watching. And then, as always, I try to keep myself super accessible to folks as they have questions. If you want to try to figure out where you want to go, what you want to do, what's maybe the next best move for you, then please give me a call, text, or email me. I'm here to help. Okay, so I am using a screen recording program called Loom. And usually I can get my face here in the corner somewhere, and it's not working for me. So I just want to press forward and get this video recorded for you. So you're not going to see my face during this part. But what this is a program called SunStats, which is available to those Florida realtors. And so you would not have access to this information or this system like this. But what I'm doing is I'm doing some research on our Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton area, which is Sarasota and Manatee Counties. This would include in Manatee County, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, Ellenton Parish, Palmetto, and then in Sarasota County, Sarasota, Osprey, Nokomis, Venice, and Northport. So I think I covered all the towns. Oh, and of course, Longboat Key, Siesta Key, Anna Marie Island, Bradenton Beach, all of our barrier islands as well. All right, so we're going to go through 10 slides. And what I like about this is we're going to go back from current September of 2022 to January of 2012. And I think this will show a lot. These are going to be all property types, meaning single family home, condominiums, and even mobile homes. And then all price points, all sales types, meaning distressed properties, new construction. Now, not all new construction is going to be included in here, only because these numbers are pulled from the MLS. So if a property was sold via new construction without a real estate agent, it's not going to be in there. This isn't going to be included. So the numbers aren't 100% true to life, but pretty darn close, especially if we're talking about resale. Okay, so here we're going to first start with active inventory. Active inventory. So in September, 4,400 properties on the market. Of course, in the last couple of years, look at how low this inventory has been, because this line right here is 2,000. So less than 2,000 active properties on the market at any one time in the last couple of years, which is extremely low for the two counties. Now, back here, March of 2020, this is when COVID was first announced and things started getting funky there, 7,700 properties. And then January, so you're going to see these peaks, and you're going to see some similar patterns with a lot of the charts we look at. If I haven't mentioned, we're going to look at 10 different ones. So here's 9,300, March, February, January. You can see this is where people put properties on the market because there's more folks down at that time. And then back here, January of 2012, 10,000. There was over 10,000 properties on the market at that time. But this is going to be a little telling. So keep that in mind. Put that in the back of your head that this was definitely a peak in terms of inventory. Okay, the next chart we're going to look at is average sale price. Average sale price is our next one. Now, most recently, our average sale price just under $600,000 here last month. The previous month was a little lower, but here at these peaks, 628, 634. So those were definitely our averages. As you can see, it just was pretty steady for these last, the 8 years prior. And then all of a sudden, went crazy. Now let's see, why did we dip here? September, August of 2021. I'm not sure what the rationale was with that. Not that it was a significant dip, but you definitely see that. But overall, definitely an upward trend. And then back here, let's look at this low end, $206,000. Our next chart is cash sales as a percentage of closed sales. So really what this means is what percentage of our sales are paid in cash. So most recently, 45.6%. Now keep in mind that, again, this is for all types of properties, all price points. So condos, single family homes, you name it. Some mobile homes, not that there's a ton of mobile home sales in our MLS, not at all. And let me just say this too, I do get people calling about mobile homes. If the land is not included, if you have to rent the land or lease the land, I can't help you purchase it, because otherwise it's like buying a car. There's just a title on it. That's it. So unless there's land involved, that's considered real estate. Otherwise, I can't help. Okay, but let's go back to this. Our cash sales as a percentage of closed sales. So 45.6%. Typically, condominiums, the percentage of cash purchases are higher. I just think because it's overall a lower price point. Now here at this lower end, January of 2020, 32.4%. But then even way back here. Now remember, back here we had a lot of inventory, 66.2%, 65%, 66.8%. I think there was a lot of investors back here too. 52.7% in July of 2013. Let's see, we already talked about that. June of 2020, 32.4%. So we can see in our area, cash sales are really strong. This is a big thing for us, for sure. So if you are a cash buyer, that usually helps you. Seller typically, let's say they get 2 offers on a property, and let's say one's for $500,000 financing, the other one is $490,000 or $495,000 cash. Sometimes they'll take the cash one because in the end they see it as less risk. They don't have to worry about whether or not the property is going to appraise, or is the buyer going to get a credit card at the last minute or buy a bunch of furniture and then they can't purchase the property. Okay, our next one is closed sales. So how many properties closed in that month? Most recently, 1,300 sales in September. But at our peak, we had 3,400 last year in March of 2021. Let's see, May of 2019, a year before COVID, we had 2,500 sales. Now let's look all the way back here. Remember, we had a lot of inventory. I think it was like over 10,000 homes, a lot of cash buyers, but look, very few sales. Just over 1,000, just over 1,100. I think that's kind of interesting to see those numbers like that. But again, you see these significant, pretty consistent ups and downs here, and it just depends on the time of year. Here we've got more sales, more closed sales, March, April, May, because remember, more properties come on the market January, February, there's people down, so they get under contract and they close 30 to 60 days later. So that's why, spring, early summer, we see more sales, and then we just don't see as many because of the holidays here. January is lower. Still have people that come down. They're down around Christmas time. My mom always says, "Hey Jill, you probably won't have to work hardly at all around Christmas." And no, that's not always the case. Sometimes I'm on the phone on Christmas Day. Not that I really want to do that, but sometimes that happens. Okay, this next one, the title in the system says median percent of original list price. So the list to sale price ratio. So if a seller has put a property on the market and they believe they priced it well to the market, to what the market value is or close to it, what might they anticipate getting? Like, how close will those offers be to their list price? So here we are the last couple of years, very strong, 100% or more. Now, if you just looked at it from, let's say, September, January of 2021 and on over, you go, oh my goodness, look at that huge dip. But it's not really that big of a dip. Look at 96.7%, almost 97% of the list price is what a seller could anticipate getting if the property is priced well. So don't think you can just throw whatever number you want on a house and you're going to get 97% of it. Buyers are smarter than that. They know what's priced well and what isn't. So those are our trends. Now back here, look at this, 90%, much lower. But when I got licensed in 2008, these numbers were more like 84, 85%. So definitely you see this trend of it just going up and up and up. So pricing a property well is very, very important. So this list to sale price ratio, what you might get if your property is priced well. And I think that's also going to decrease the amount of time a property is on the market. Okay, just a few more. Median time to contract. So as I was just talking about, how long is that house going to sit on the market? Okay, so median time to contract. So most recently, 19 days. Now during our crazy times, the last couple of years, 4 or 5, well, it says 5, 6, 7, 8 days. And honestly, I think that these numbers could have been even lower. But what a lot of people were doing is listing a property, let's say on a Thursday, and right away just say, we're going to look at offers on Sunday night or Monday morning. And so then the property could be exposed to the market a little bit longer. But otherwise, I think that if people weren't doing that and they just kind of took the offers as they were coming in and just grabbed one of the first ones, that this time would be even shorter. So that's why we talked about pricing a property well is really important if you want this number to be lower. Now let's go back farther. So remember back here, this is when we had high inventory. We had fewer sales. It was just like 1,100 sales and a lot of cash buyers. So now here, these properties were sitting on the market for a long time, a very long time. And then they started to go down. So right here, we had a nice drop. September of 2013, 38 days. Even over here, December of 2015, 32 days. And again, we see these jumps of going up and down, 42 days, 54. And then here we had this peak of 62 days. This because again, COVID, June of 2020, and then it just plummeted. So I think this one's kind of interesting. I like this one. Okay, 2 more left. This one is months supply of inventory. So before we look at the specific numbers, let's talk about what does this mean exactly. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you would have heard me say this in the past. So this chart goes from 0 months all the way up to 8 months of inventory. And what this means is if you have 6 months of inventory, that is considered a balanced buyer-seller market. Really, you could even say 5 to 7 months is sort of balanced because, you got some gray area on each side. And then if it's less than 6 months, less than 5 months, it's considered a seller's market. If it's more, it's considered a buyer's market. And why is that? Well, what it's really saying is if no new properties come on the market, the inventory doesn't change by people listing their properties, and then the demand stays the same, how long will it be until we're out of homes for people to buy? So back here, look at this, 0.6 months, 0.7, 0.6. So we're talking 2 or 3 weeks. If new properties didn't come on the market, we would be out of homes for people to buy. And during this time when people would come down, they tell me what they want. There was nothing for me to show them. It was really hard. They're like, Jill, you're not listening to me. And I'm like, no, really, like this is what we've got. I would just show stuff to people that kind of fit what they like just so they could get familiar with the area. But there was nothing to show people. So now we're up to 2.1 months of inventory. So again, if we just looked at it from this area right here to the right, this section, you'd go, oh yeah, look, that's a nice jump. That's a nice peak here. But it's still considered a seller's market. It's not enough. And then all the way back here, as we have already seen, is about 8 months of inventory. And remember, we had a lot of inventory, few sales, a lot of cash buyers. And so this was a buyer's market. That median sale price was down, or the average sale price was down. So this really shows a lot. So now let's look a little bit here and there. August of 2015, 3 months of inventory. Over here, February. So again, our winter months, we're going to have a bit more inventory because a lot more people list homes at that point. And then at this time in the, late summer, fall, we have less inventory. So here we are, let's see, August of 2019, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, and then drops. Now, here's our final chart. These are new listings. This is what is coming on the market, or how many properties came on the market in that month. So again, this will impact active inventory. It'll impact our months of inventory. So in September, we had 1,700, just over 1,700 properties come on the market. But then back in June, we had 3,000. March, we had close to 3,000. Let's look at our trends here. December, less, 1,800. I think because of the holidays, but March, 2,800. So we definitely see more coming on the market in our winter months. Here's April, that spring. Oh, because again, COVID, look at that, 1,486, because people were like, what are we going to do? What's this COVID stuff? Okay, March was still pretty strong because things kind of didn't get too crazy until the middle of the month. But here's January, really strong. Again, January, you can see these peaks, January. This is September, it was less, 1,300, even less than even during COVID. So I don't know what happened there in September of 2017. I don't recall offhand. And then let's go back to our January of 2012. 2,200, let's say, properties came on the market. So again, because that demand was so low. So here, the number of new listings, pretty average, going back the last 10 years. But because not as many people were buying, we only had 1,100 sales that month. That's what kept that inventory super, super high. Because I think it was like 10,000 something and 8 months of inventory. So that's why this was definitely a buyer's market. And then, we're still in a strong seller's market with, when you keep these things in mind. All right, here's a bonus slide. I was just thinking, I want to go and look at these months of inventory. The farthest back I can make this chart go was January of 2018, but really, it's just January of 2009. So January of 2009, look at this, 18.8 months of inventory. So you can see this very strong buyer's market because this was, during the housing crash. So look at this. So people are saying, well, are we going to have a housing crash? Well, we have a long ways to go to get back to what we saw here. A long ways to go. And again, I was telling you before that when I first got licensed, it was in the 80s. What's the list to sale price ratio? And so here we are, January of 2008. It was 85. I think I got licensed in July. So yeah, 86.6%. Here's 82%. So we've come a long way to get to here. So I just think these things are kind of fun and interesting to look at, and maybe it gives you a fresh perspective on the real estate market and kind of just gives you some insight. So there we have it, a nice perspective here on the real estate market, just not one moment in time, but looking back at the last 10 years. So I hope this was a help to you as you try to decide what you would like to do with your real estate portfolio, whether it's one property or many. And if you would like any of these graphs, these charts, let me know. Shoot me an email at jill@jillwillsell.com, and that's going to be down below as a link, also in the description. And I can get those to you as a PDF because this is part of, I have to log into the system, so it's not accessible to the public to have this information set up like this. And again, as always, please give me a call if there's anything I can do for you. You guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.